Hey guys. Okay, so somebody made a special request for me to do the Divine Guidance Council meeting over again and add a little bit more about listening to your intuition. So I'm going to do that. I don't know where I heard this exercise from. I actually didn't make it up, but and I probably don't even do it like they do it anyway. So this is just how I practice it. And you can do this once a month, once a year, every day, like a little mini version of it. Whenever you feel compelled to, you can say, Spirit, whenever you want me to do a Divine Guidance Council meeting, please, I don't know, knock on my door mysteriously, or send a bird, or a specific type of bird or something. So the idea is that when Spirit is talking to you, they are going to talk to you using your own mind and your own knowledge of what you know. So they know you inside and out. This consciousness is, your spirit team, or whatever you want to call it. Everything is based on intention. And when you begin to talk to them, you have to kind of set up the parameters. For when I first started becoming like a reader, is what they used to call us. Well, maybe they don't call us that anymore. I don't know. But I sometimes would get like a bunch of messages. It seemed like it was kind of coming from all over the place. So I said to my guides, could you please come to a consensus, something that you all agree upon, and give me that idea. Just one thing. Like it could even be a compilation, but let it just come through one being, or let it just be one idea that comes through. And then it got better from there. You also need to set up a yes or a no. So for me, and a lot of people use the pendulum. What do they call it? The human pendulum or something like that, where you just stand up and close your eyes and you ask a question. And if you lean forward, it's a yes. And if you lean back, it's a no. You could do that. Or they call it the compass, the human compass, or whatever it is. You could have, like, I have a friend of mine who has tattoos, and each tattoo means something different. So one tattoo means you need protection. Another one is you need to pray for someone. And another is your dreams are coming true. So you could do that. If you have a bunch of tattoos or something, you could just designate each one, tell Spirit, this one means this, that one means that, this, that kind of thing. You could, it's just basically God or Spirit's way of talking to you. So you can become more synchronistic with life. My yes happens to be the upper left corner of my peripheral vision, or my no is the bottom right-hand corner of my peripheral. So if I'm looking at you right now and I ask a question, if my attention goes up there, it means yes. If my attention goes down there, it's a no. And it may not even be a visual thing. It could be a feeling thing. I feel something down there, or I feel something up there. Or as I'm talking to you and I want to know that what I'm saying is true, like just to check in without having to stop the flow of the conversation, I could keep tuning in to where the yes is, and kind of like you would, like on a monorail or something, like you hold on to it and it just keeps going. You could try to tune into the yes, and then see if it holds throughout the conversation. If it ever drops, or if it switches down to a no, then you're wrong. And when you're starting out, it can help you that way. So the idea behind the Divine Guidance Council meeting is a way to kind of brainstorm with your spirit crew and come up with ideas that you would never have even thought of, things that, like, when I was first starting, I had a true love who ran marathons. So that kind of made him stand out in a way. So I did a Divine Guidance Council on a meeting on him, and I got the name Ester. And I was like, Ester? Like, what am I going to do with that name? I was like, is this Esther Hicks? So here's the idea: is basically you have a clock, and I'll get back to that story, but you have a clock. You imagine a clock in front of you that's blank, but it has like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you essentially have 12 tries at talking to spirit, right? And you could get to the point, if you keep a journal of this, you could get to a point where each number means something, like ones are new beginnings, twos are coming to get things that are coming together, threes can be catalysts, fours can be stability. You could have all the different numbers mean something different. So maybe something doesn't show up at 1 o'clock because you have a message at 2, or you have a message at 4, or you have a message at 9. So the numbers could even come into play a little bit too. Anyway, so I saw the name Esther, and I was like, is this Esther Hicks? And I got a no, because I felt out a no beforehand, right? So I was like, no. Is this Esther from the Bible? And I got yes. I was like, Esther from the Bible, like, what is this about? And I felt into her, and I said, why are you here? And she said, your person, your true love that you're inquiring about, because I was asking about him. Your true love you were inquiring about was my son. I said, Esther had a son. I said, that's interesting. Now, I know nothing about her history or whether she had kids or anything like that, right? So I'm just going on complete faith. So that's another thing, is you got to clear out any kind of doubt. You just do it as an exercise and believe it completely, okay? And then you can do your research and figure it out later. But when they're telling you things, just take it for fact. Just do it. Just believe what they're saying, and then you can go back and look, which is what I did. I was like, okay, so you have a son. Okay, let's go with this. What about him? And she said, you were our neighbor kid, and you used to come over all the time. You guys were like really good friends. And I was like, cool. She says, you knew him inside and out. You could see right through every look he would have on his face. You guys were really cute. Like you guys knew each other like the back of each other's hands, like nobody else ever could, kind of thing. And then she said something about him going on with like not having anybody in his life, and things not working out for us because he was kind of stubborn and all this other stuff. So she's explaining the story, and then I was like, oh, this is all very interesting. So I was kind of jotting some of the information down. And now some of you are like, well, I don't hear things, or I don't. That's another thing to consider too, is that the messages are kind of like, imagine what you had for lunch yesterday, or something an activity that you did yesterday, and try to picture you doing it again. Try to make it real for yourself again. When I had that bowl of cereal, what was I doing when I had that bowl of cereal? What does the bowl look like in front of me? What am I hearing in the background? What was going on? Like, try to recall it. And that is very much what intuition is like. It's like a recollection almost. It's like a memory, sort of. And it can be very, very subtle. So don't let people fool you who are like, I see this thing, like this big grand thing. It's not obvious. It only gets more obvious because you practice it a lot. You practice it so much that it seems really obvious. But probably some people can see better than other people. I have no idea. But for me, it's always been very subtle. So I've had to work really hard to tune into it, to keep tuned into it, and things like that. So, even now, a lot of times, sometimes I get stuff automatically, but I have to kind of be in a channeled energy to get the information sometimes. Sometimes I forget that I'm psychic, we all do. We all have intuition, and sometimes we use it and sometimes we don't. I'm not one of those people who go out and flaunt it all over the place. Oh, I'm just bombarded with all of these messages. I don't know what to do. I think that's kind of bragging. I mind my own business. I don't go spying on people. I don't go looking at their energy. I have good, healthy boundaries with people and with spirit. And I'm just like, you guys, I don't want to know. You guys just stick to yourself. I stick to myself. If I need to know, my crew will let me know, and they'll let me know in a way that's obvious, that it'll grab my attention, and I'll take a good look at it if I need to know. Okay. That's the way I handle it anyway. So anyway, when I did research, and when I was done, and there were several messages, I think probably like 3 or 4 messages in that meeting. Now you can set your intention for the meeting, or you can just generally ask Spirit to tell you some things. You could do this every night before bed. Spirit, what do you want to tell me today? What vision do you want to give me today? What do you want to, whatever. Maybe a message for a friend of yours, or it could be, to tell you something to help you sleep better, or, so many different things can come through. Like you might see licorice and you can just ask questions. Say you're at 1 o'clock and you say, so you start off with, I know I'm skipping all over the place, but, a lot of you women or people of feminine energy will understand this because we just go all over the place. But you start at 1 o'clock and you say, okay, who's at 1 o'clock? So you set your intention, put protection around yourself, however you want to, whatever your preference is, and set the intention of only benevolent, loving, kind, compassionate beings of the compassionate God, can be here with me now, or only those of, only the true Yeshua can be here right now, or only the true Archangel Michael, no imposters, whatever you want to say. Just always intend that something good, the highest of all high, a source creator, or however you put that. And I say that only because it's a placebo. Everybody has their own placebo. So you have to go along with your own belief system because that's important. Figure out what that is, set your intentions, know that it's going to work out. Don't doubt it. It's going to work out great. Then you just say, who is at 1 o'clock? If you don't get a message or if nothing appears, just, give it a couple minutes and just feel out, am I seeing anything? Am I hearing anything? Do I smell anything? Is anything happening right now? And if nothing happens, just no big deal. Just go to 2 o'clock. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank Spirit anyway. Thank you. Because maybe that is a message in itself that nothing showed up at 1 o'clock, right? So then you say, is somebody at 2 o'clock? And then you see like an elephant. You see an image of an elephant. So you just look at the elephant and watch the elephant. And then you see if is it just standing there, or does it move? Does it make a noise? Just kind of observe it for a minute and say, hey, elephant, what are you doing here? Do you have a message for me? Just like you would if anything appeared before you. It's like, hey there. What do you have to say to me? And then you see whatever it wants to say to you. Like I'm seeing an elephant spraying water out of its trunk, which I think is a really good sign of prosperity, because I don't know, that's just the feeling I get from it, because it's an elephant with its trunk up is luck and blessings. And water, they love water. They love to play in water. They love and water is a very quenching, thirst quenching, feeling. So I just saw the word prosperity, it can come through in so many different ways. It can be very, very, very subtle, or you might even hear something. Some of you are more audio, or whatever comes through for you. Don't judge it and let it just be what it is. You could go all the way around to 12 o'clock, or you could just be fine with whatever messages you get until 6 o'clock, or you can just get one message and be like, hey, that's really cool. Okay, I got to go to bed, whatever. There's no rules to it. It's just a creative process to help you connect with spirit. And the more you get the hang of it and do it on a fairly regular basis, the better you're going to get at yes, no, looking at things, seeing words, seeing colors. And you can even ask spirit if you see like a color show up, like red, you could say, what does red mean? Don't assume anything. Ask a lot of questions. Hello, color red. Well, why are you here? It could be, I'm feeling a lot of passion, or I'm feeling very angry, or both. And then you say, why are you feeling upset? And if it's a subject that's going on, like you're asking about our world, then you would say, is it this? Is it that? Is it this other thing? And you'll resonate with it when it's a yes, or you'll see the yes up here, or you'll feel a yes up there, or it'll glow up there, or your eyes will go up there, You guys, you think way too hard on it, you know what I mean? So just let it be this creative, fun thing, and maybe write it down. When you write something down, for some reason, it becomes like almost more official. You remember it better. You feel almost like you're documenting it. You're doing your research, and you're, okay, we got a star today, and we got a this, that, and you can write down the oracle cards. And it's so cool when you start keeping track of spirit. They love to play around with that. So you get a star here and an elephant there, and all of a sudden you start seeing elephants and stars all over the place. And you're like, holy crap, that's like incredible synchronicities. All these things are happening all over. Then you see 1111, which is yeses. And then you're like, and it gets really exciting. So spirit loves to play with you that way, and play with you in a playful way that helps you feel like you're aligned and you're on the right path, and like, keep going, you're doing great, like encouragement. And ones are definitely that. What else about the intuition do they need to understand? Don't overanalyze it, and don't give yourself a hard time or compare yourself to anybody else and what they say and how obvious it is to them. People love to brag and act like they can really see and hear things, you know. Sometimes when I'm doing my channelings, I'll say they just told me, but it's not like there's a being standing there and said, Amy, you tell everybody right now that they really need to be in more of a state of peace. It's not like that would take too long. I would have to listen to all of that, which you never see me stopping, do you? You know, I never stop and go, okay, they said to take more, you know what I mean? It's not like this direct translation thing where they say this whole sentence or two, and then I wait patiently and I listen and then I say it to you. It doesn't work like that. Spirit is more cryptic. They go by symbolism for you. Like for me, if peace would be like a dove, let's say. So they would show me a dove, and I would say, they're letting me know that you need to be in more of a state of patience or peace, right? So they take shortcuts. It's kind of like, what is it called? Like dictation, but shorter. What is it called? I forget. There's a shortcut writing. Like you can write, but it's like it's like very symbolic. So it's so much shorter and condensed. Spirit will get the point across. It'll even use a memory of yours. It'll show you like, remember the dream that you had. So you'll go, oh, you'll almost get like distracted by it because you'll be talking to somebody and it'll be like, boom, you'll get a flash of the dream that you had. And so you'll say, oh, well, let me give you this example of a dream that I had. Now, the person you're talking to is sitting there going, why are you talking about yourself? Like, how irritating, because like, I'm trying to get a reading. And you're like, well, because spirit like put that on me so that I would share that with you because somehow it's relevant, you know? So you have to learn to trust that. And don't feel bad if you go into your own personal stuff, because that's how they communicate. That's how they show you things. And those are the analogies that they choose to use in your readings, because that's what you know. That's what you know. They're not going to tell you something in Japanese because you're not going to understand Japanese if you don't speak Japanese. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to tell you some way foreign idea out there that you have no idea about unless you have dug into it somehow, or you have some kind of a code with them where you can figure it all out. They don't just communicate to you like, say, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, oh, now I get it all, you know. And sometimes they do. Like sometimes I'll certain moments I'll just say, God, what the hell? What the hell? And I could hear him laughing, right? Now, is that actually like the God of all gods up there in a cloud that's laughing? No, it's like, even it's consciousness. Even if you think that like if you really believe in Yeshua, then Yeshua will be the one to greet you when you die. But is it actually Yeshua? Probably not. It's probably just a hologram of Yeshua, because you believe in Yeshua and consciousness wants you to feel comfortable when you go to heaven, right? For example, if you believe in Buddha will greet you at the gates. If you believe in this, it'll greet you. So it's like there's all these different things too. And always like check in with your heart. That's your gauge. If it feels good, if it feels like, oh man, that just really offers me some reassurance, or if you then that's a good thing. That's a good positive thing. If you constrict, you know, then ask more questions, or try to set more of a boundary. Like, only loving, benevolent beings are allowed to be here right now, and really command that. You know, only loving beings here right now. All negativity must leave. Now I command it. Like, really take control, right? Or have a sense of humor and laugh. If you laugh or you command, they have to listen, you know? So, what else? Just practice a lot. Write it down, write down what you get. Even you could even like do a guidance council meeting when you first start in the morning, and write down things that you get in your journal. And by the end of the day, see how those things pertain to your day and how they were helpful to you throughout the day. Do it the next day. Oh, they're saying also, they're like making this tingle like really intense right now because they're trying to let me know they have a download coming through. So they're giving me that sensation to tell you that when you get downloads, it tingles like that. You might get it at the top of your head or here or through your temples. If you get that tingling, do not sit there and try to overanalyze and go, oh, I'm getting a download. Let me grab a piece of paper and write it all down. Don't worry about it because it'll come out when it comes out. A lot of times I'll feel myself getting a download. Like I just got one. I don't know when it's going to come out. It can be coming out right now, or it could come out later, or it could come out tomorrow. But I just got a pretty big one. So, but I'm not worried about it, because when the download comes, it will come out of your mouth, or it will come out on the paper, or it will manifest somehow. So you don't have to worry about it. You can practice automatic writing. Write a question with your right hand, and with your left hand, answer it. Your left hand is spirit. Your right hand is your mind. So, you can, there's so many different techniques out there to try to practice. I also have a video that I did with, well, you could just look up happiness coach, or you could look up happiness coach, or you could put in naked truth and the word intuition, because Laura and I end up talking back and forth about how we developed our intuitions through time. So you might get some information out of that one too. But the more you practice the Divine Guidance Council meeting and don't judge yourself, and just, I don't know, just write down that the wind blew, write down that you heard a car go by, just don't overanalyze it, just write it down, and those things become relevant. It's like everything is intertwined and everything becomes a sign for you. The more that you learn to listen and go with it. So there is nothing insignificant in a sense, but don't be paranoid about that. But just know that the fact that your cat went by and meowed, pay attention to that, pay attention to the fact that a door slammed when you said something. Start to listen to and pay attention to your five senses in any given moment, and stay really present in the moment, because I guess I'll add this too. The way that the higher self works too is that I like to see it as an eagle. It's like you're in the Grand Canyon, at the very bottom of the Grand Canyon, and you can't see if a flood is coming or anything's going to happen to you, right? Because you can only see up around the next corner. But your higher self is way up there, and it can see like a long, long way. It's like 20 or 50 miles out there. It's like, oh, okay, I can see something coming over there. But because it's so high up there, you have like a pipe between you guys where you can talk. You could talk into the pipe. Hey, higher self, is there something dangerous coming up? And the eagle is up there going, let me take a look. Let me take a look. Right. But you can't hear the only thing that clogs that pipe from you being able to hear your higher self is a bunch of noise in your head. So that's why it's important to meditate and to be present in the moment, and to stay out of fear, because when you stay in love and you stay in your heart, you're relaxed. All of the pipe becomes completely clear, because you're just a clear channel, and you're just in the moment, and you're doing your dishes and you're relaxing, or whatever it is. Try even when you're doing numbing type of exercises or numbing activities, like watching TV or watching a movie or whatever. Also be in tune with what's going on around you, or when you're working on a project, try to also be listening. That's a good practice, but not listening in terms of labels, but just being connected to it, if that makes sense. Like I just had the air conditioning come on, and I'm like one with it, and I'm at one with Annie. I also am aware that she's walking into the room right now. So just connect with it in a way. Just kind of put your consciousness out to connect with it when you hear it or whatever. Just be aware of your surroundings. And that's going to keep your mind clear. It's going to keep you from thinking too much. And it'll bring, and then you'll hear the eagle, and the eagle will sound like this. There's something 30 miles up. It's going to whisper, guys. It's not going to, sometimes you get like a pound in your heart or something. Oh, something's wrong, something's up. That would be something major. But usually it's a whisper. So, and God made it like that so that you would be quiet in your heart and in your mind to be able to hear that whisper and to have it land softly on you. 30 miles up, there could be harm. So you're like, okay, can you give me some more information on that? And since you're used to doing the Divine Guidance Council meeting, you might see a flash of something. You might see an image of something. You might see something, here or there, or maybe something in the room. A piece of paper falls on the floor. Oh, it could be this. It could be that. Is that true? Is that true? It becomes this fun interactive thing that you do with all that surrounds you. So your world becomes very magical because you're connected to everything around you, which we all are anyway, whether we know it or not. So in a way, when we're not connected to our intuition, we're just as bad as those people we call sleepers. We're sleepers because we're just doing our thing and we're listening to stuff loud and we're distracting ourselves with this, or we're constantly laughing at that and not paying attention to this, and something falls and we don't care, and we don't, we're just kind of stumbling through life being really clumsy and loud, and so it is important. It's really important to quiet your mind so that you can connect with spirit and let these messages come through for you. So addictions. They just said addictions. Like sometimes we numb ourselves with all kinds of different addictions and things. If you can start to reflect on your addictions, it'll help lessen the hold of them. So just becoming more self-aware all the time of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and trying to rethink it a little bit, it'll do so much good. I mean, we're convinced that we have to go through the programs or drugs or this whole rehab, or we make it like this grueling process to get over an addiction, but really I believe it's a self-awareness thing. It's like choosing another route. How about we just go this way instead of that way? Because every time we go that way, something happens. So let's learn to drive around this way. Oh, okay. Then you go this way and a whole new world opens up. And you don't even remember going that way anymore at all. It's just like, bye, gone, So in other words, our existence can be so much easier and simpler if we just cooperate with spirit and we do as it prompts us to. This is very common in true love too. Like the masculines just ignore so many signs and synchronicities and stuff. And it's just like and the universe probably is like, oh my gosh, like would you just go that way that I'm telling you to go and everything will work out great. If you go the wrong way, it's gonna hurt. Hello. And the masculines are so afraid to go that way because they don't feel they deserve it. And it's just like, oh my gosh, just go the way that you don't think you deserve, and everything will work out just great. And you'll realize that it was all just your fear, and it was all just no big deal. And you got a partner that's by your side that's like totally helpful. That one would never have been if so it's like, just listen. When spirit says to do something, I moved from Boulder. I moved from Boulder a bit ago, and I was told, start packing up your stuff. Start packing up your stuff. And I was like, okay. So I was packing and packing and packing and packing. And then it was like, okay, this weekend looks good. This weekend looks good. And I was like, okay, so this weekend. And then I lined up a moving company and I got all this stuff figured out and stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like, I got this very, very uncomfortable feeling, really, really uncomfortable feeling, very unsettling. And I was like, what's happening right now? Well, you're leaving tomorrow. Leaving tomorrow. That gave me anxiety because I was like, I thought I had till Wednesday or whatever. So I was like, leaving tomorrow. Holy cow. I don't even have this done and that done and that done. And then I was like, oh, and then I have the cats, and then and I don't want to have to stay in a hotel or something. I just want to go right where I'm going, but the place isn't lined up until next blah, blah, blah. And I was just like a little bit, and then I was like, okay, wait, all right. Okay. Then I accepted that maybe that next day was going to be the day that I went, and another surprise happened that very night. God said, okay, go. I was like, what do you mean, okay, go? I thought I had through tomorrow. No, you're leaving now. I'm leaving now. And then Nala goes over on her cat crate and gets inside of it. Like, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, are you serious? So I left at, like 8 o'clock at night to take a drive, not even knowing where I was going, and traveled all night long till 5 o'clock in the morning ish. And it's like so supported the whole way, guys. So supported. It was like the biggest miracle. It was amazing. And all along the way, I had friends all over the world that were talking to me that were wide awake because it was daytime for them. So I didn't have to worry about falling asleep at the wheel because everybody was calling me like, hey, I'm really excited for you. And, and you got to have friends, surround yourself with like-minded people who encourage you to follow your heart like that, So all these friends that were just like, it was just so crazy too. Even one time, like randomly I get this call and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Where are you? And I said, oh, I just passed such and such exit. Well, I don't see that on your route. So they were looking out for me. They were like, I don't see that on your route. Did you like maybe go the wrong way or something? I was like, no, I'm following an nav, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, maybe I did. I looked at my nav and my nav was even saying turn around. I didn't even hear it or something. Maybe I had music going or whatever, but I had gone 10 miles out of my route and I had to turn around and go a different way. But the funny thing is, because I went out of the way and went the way that I went, that way just happened to go through a town and like followed all these exits that had my masculine's name as the exit. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So it was like I was going to him. It was like his name 50 miles, his name 30 miles, his name 20 miles. I was like, is he going to be there? Like when I get to this town, is he going to be there? It was just crazy. So everything works out when you follow spirit. I mean, and the friend just like for her, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and she woke up and she's like, are you going the wrong way? So, and this is what happens when you have all your friends that are intuitive too. Everybody helps everybody out, and they're they got your back because they know how to listen to spirit too. And you guys can wake up in the morning and have a message for each other. It's really fun. Like, hey, guess what? I had a dream about you last night and blah, 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 blah. Or guess what? I had this feeling, or I saw you in a wedding dress, or I saw da, da, da. And you can get all this encouragement all along. Whereas if you had regular friends that don't listen to their intuition, you just don't have that kind of magic, Anyway, I guess that's all I can really think of. Let me just pull a couple of spirit cards. These could help too, actually. All of my oracle cards, go to amysatori.com/store and you'll see all my different cards. Those are all channeled. So this one is called the Spirit Deck, and this could really help you navigate too. If you don't like a situation, practice observing you in the experience rather than being in it yourself. Step outside yourself and look from a more detached perspective. So especially at this time, we have all this craziness going on and all this scary stuff happening. So they're just encouraging you to pull back. It's almost like you're standing in back of yourself, watching yourself watch that information. So you're not you watching the video or whatever, you're you watching you watch the video. So then you start putting yourself in the perspective of your higher self, just watching you peacefully watch that. And it transmutes the energy of whatever you're watching too. So, all right. Reflect on this. If you were someone else, what would you think of your life? We are your biggest fans. We believe in you and we know what you're capable of. Stop doubting yourself and know that you can't mess up. You were born for this. What would you advise your best friend to do in your shoes? Do that. Having a good cry, then putting your hand on your heart and saying, I love you, can be all you need. So like every night I like to pick a Mary Magdalene card. Love and appreciate your body and your circumstances just as they are. Change comes through radical acceptance. So, so I have these Mary Magdalene cards sitting right here when I relax every night. So in honor of that, I'm going to pick a card for you guys. And I just pick a random card. I don't shuffle them. There's no thing to it. The Matrix. Isn't that kind of appropriate right now? Okay, the Matrix. Trying to figure out why certain things happen is like attempting to piece together a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle while only having a few pieces of the puzzle in your possession. You cannot fully understand the present situation using the logic of your finite mind. Just know that a bigger picture exists, even though it's not possible for you to see it at this time. Trust, for all that is happening is an act of love. Ultimately, you will discover the blessing. Have patience. You will look back at this period of your life and be thankful for all that is occurring now. Wow. 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 Okay. So that's a pretty darn appropriate for these times right now. Anyway, you guys, I hope this helps you to feel more confident in developing your own intuitive abilities. Of course, you can always, you can always get a remote reading from me. I do 20 minutes or 45 minutes. We can work on you just practicing your intuition if you want to. I even have a mentoring program you guys can check out. It's on my website, which is amysatori.com. But yeah, so I mean, I even have people who have their teenagers come to me for guidance on how to listen to their intuition because they want their teenager to kind of be set up in a strong way to be super intuitive as an adult and feel confident in their own abilities. So yeah, have yourselves a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I send you a big hug, and I will talk to you later. Bye. You guys are going to laugh at me. I had to do a postscript to this because I realized I didn't get to the end of that one story about Ester. So the marathon runner guy, right? So I go look it up afterwards. I find out that she indeed had a son, and the son never did marry, it looked like. And he ended up being responsible for the word marathon being created. He actually started the word marathon that we use in our language now for running long distances. So I was pretty shocked. I was like, how I never would have thought, starting out with the word Ester, digging and asking all these questions and then looking it up and all of that stuff, that I would have discovered that at the end of it was a guy who actually created the word marathon. And here he was, the guy to me that was known for being a marathon runner. That to me was like, wow, it was pretty shocking. So trust the information that you're given, just trust it and do your research afterwards and check it out and just see, because it's moments like that that'll really boost your faith. Annie is so cute. She just came running in here, flipping a mouse up in the air, running after her, running in a little cubby. And then she's in a very joyous mood. She's in a very playful mood. So be playful with spirit. Play with spirit. Don't take it too seriously, and don't be too hard on yourself if you don't feel like you're getting it right or whatever. Just write it down and just see how it all starts coming together and unraveling. And, a lot of times, even in my readings, I'll get a piece of information one moment that ends up being the answer to somebody like the next day. That happens actually a lot. So I always pay attention, because as much as I can, because it's like the number 5 over here appearing a lot is going to be the answer to somebody wanting to know like which address to choose from, the one with the bunch of 2s or the ones with the bunch of 5s. And then you're able to be like, well, I saw a bunch of 5s the other day. So and we all intertwine, all of us give each other hints and clues for one another. So it's really amazing how life supports us all kind of working together. She just came in and did it again. Oh, you guys. All right. So I just had to add that last part because that was pretty remarkable, don't you think? I mean, what are the chances that when I went down that rabbit hole was, a guy who actually came up with the word marathon? but by a guy, it was his past life, obviously it was his past life. So it's just cool. So that's what happens when you start digging into this kind of stuff. I wish you guys could see her. Oh my gosh, it's just so cute. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's just so cute. Okay. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.